Good evening and welcome to the September 10th, 2019 meeting of Pequannock Township Council. Ms. Marsh.
In accordance with the requirements of New Jersey's Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting was included in the annual meeting notice, which was filed in the office of the Township Clerk, posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, published as a legal notice in the Suburban Trends newspaper, and distributed to all persons requesting notice in accordance with Township policy.
Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a prayer and a moment of thanks for individuals serving our nation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Most gracious Providence, we ask that you bless this governing body with an abundance of wisdom and understanding, so that every deliberation will result in actions which will promote the common good and the general welfare for all the people of Pequannock Township. Amen.
Amen. The clerk will please call the roll.
Mrs. Florence Lynch?
Here.
Mr. Hurd?
Here.
Mr. Phelan?
Here.
Mrs. Russell? Here. Mayor Cole?
Here.
We have a quorum.
There are no presentations scheduled for this evening. Or at this time, are there any reports from volunteers serving our community? All right, seeing none. The next item on the agenda is public comments. This public comment period will be limited to a total of 30 minutes. An additional period of public comment is reserved later in the meeting. Individuals are requested to limit their questions and comments to 3 minutes. If anyone wishes to address the council, please wait to be recognized. Come to the microphone and provide your name and address for the record.
Moving right along.
Seeing none. Next item on the agenda is manager's report. Mr. Brewer.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a lengthy report that should take several hours.
All right.
Come on.
A few quick items. From the prior meeting, there was a question regarding desnagging the Pompton River. There was an article in the press about Wayne seeking permits to do certain areas, and a question came from a member of council about, is this going to be, consistent with what we're doing, redundant or otherwise? Engineering for the Township of Pequannock has been speaking with the engineering department in Wayne. They didn't have specific limits at this time, so we're trying to communicate with what we're seeking permits for to try to coordinate so there isn't a redundancy, but it's not definitive as of right now. But the communication will be ongoing.
Can I interrupt real quick about the permits? Unless I'm missing something. A timeline, hasn't it been a long time that we've been waiting for permits or no?
We authorized H2M to acquire permits for desnagging in the Pompton River earlier in 2019. There were previous permits that expired.
All right, so we're still waiting.
Correct.
Okay.
It takes a while, unfortunately.
Okay.
PV Park, there's a question regarding a $3,000 charge. Within the memo, there's a supporting memorandum from Peter Coriel. The $3,000 charge appears in the PV Park budget as it was used to stock fish in Woodland Lake. It's historically been used for both bodies of water.
So then the Woodland Lake fishing fees would also be in with the PV Park stuff?
I don't know.
Well, that kind of makes sense.
Right.
I don't know. I'd have to check.
If we're paying money for Woodland Lake, then we should be taking some of the fees from Woodland.
Right.
For PV Park.
That's what I just want to make sure it was all in.
Yeah, I know it's just been historically how it's operated, so I'll be happy to research whether or not the fees are being deposited. The recreation utility is one body of a checkbook, if you will. It's
Right.
an enterprise fund, so whether it's in certain line items or others, I'll be happy to find out exactly where the fees are being deposited. I'll get back to the council and public.
And we did change that a couple of years ago, so I would think that it's still, that we changed membership a bunch with PV Park, but I think it still is.
Well, I think it all should be grouped into PV Park.
Right.
As
Right,
money making, right, as part of the revenue coming.
Right,
into
if it's
PV Park.
coming in, then we need to
Yep.
in and out.
Check it. I'll get back to council and the public at the next meeting. With respect to the sewer rate study, this is on for discussion. There's an autonomous memorandum supporting that later in the meeting. I'll get to that when we get to that item. And then lastly, as requested, the ranger report is enclosed with the manager's report for the meeting. That is all I have, Mr. Mayor. Hours were saved.
All right. There are no public hearings scheduled for this evening. Next on the agenda is ordinances scheduled, and there are no ordinances scheduled for introduction at this time. Next on the agenda is resolutions. Ms. Marsh.
Beginning with Resolution R 2019-195, canceling unexpended water capital appropriation balances, and R 2019-196, approving payment of the itemized claims as set forth on the September 5th, 2019 bill list and the 2015 FEMA elevation escrow list.
Are there any comments on the resolutions from council? No. Hearing none, is there a motion to adopt these resolutions?
I'll make a motion to adopt Resolution 2019-195 and 2019-196.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Florence Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Hurd?
Yes.
Mr. Phelan?
Yes.
Mrs. Russell?
Yes.
Mayor Cole?
Yes. All right. There are no reports or notices. Next on the agenda, this might be a record here. Next on the agenda is council reports and announcements. Councilwoman Florence Lynch.
Okay. Before I forget, the one thing I did want to ask, which I noted... Oh, yeah.
Items for discussion.
Oh, wait.
Didn't we just jump over something?
Yes, we did. I thought so. I was going to say something.
We were just those lands on.
Discussing that stuff.
We wanted to make
Item
sure you guys
12.
were paying attention.
Next item on the agenda is reports, items for discussions. We have one for Company 2 request and sewer utility connection capacity fee.
Mayor, as the council may be aware, as I believe they were copied on the correspondence that was submitted by Company 2, there's been a request made that a street be honorarily named for Chief Verhaeghe. I know Councilman Phelan has greater information as he's been engaged in this discussion.
Okay, we all know what we've done in the past for certain members of our community. I think this is really appropriate at this point.
I love the idea.
Yeah. So are we talking like the red one that's
Yeah,
for
similar to-
S on the
Just like
boulevard?
Like Furness has on the boulevard. I love that.
Same type of
absolutely.
thing. We would have we'd have a dedication, have the sign made, have a dedication, have members of Company 2, Company 1, and anybody in the community come for that dedication and dedicate the road to the ex-chief.
Yeah, and get some nice press, and I think that, he was definitely a pillar of the community, so I think it's great.
So I'm guessing everybody's agreeing to this.
Yes. Do we need to do anything formally, Carol? Or Bob?
No, I don't think so.
think
Just
so.
give
I think
direction that
direction's been
we
received.
order a sign, and I think that's been given.
There you go. Who orders the sign?
Public Works.
Public Works, okay? There you go, guys. Done.
And then I'll circle back to the council and anybody else who wants to be clued in on how we coordinate the scheduling of the...
Well, it'd be nice if we can get it done before, November.
Yeah, before it gets cold.
So.
How do you figure out which road it is?
It's Oak Avenue.
Oh.
They specify.
By the
Oh,
fire,
it is
yeah.
special, okay.
Yeah, down by the
Fire company happens
firehouse.
to be on
Perfect.
Oak.
And I believe there's a street sign on the corner of the fire department in Oak.
Far corner, though.
The far.
It's on the,
Is it on the Boys and Girls Club side or is it on your side?
it's on the opposite of the Boys and Girls Club.
Where do you want the sign?
Look in front of the firehouse.
Oh, that means we'd have to
New
put
signpost.
new signposts. Well, we'll have to talk to the
okay.
township manager on that one.
So there's no posts there now?
So how do people find the firehouse?
So we,
You haven't got that up for GPS today.
Oh, okay.
all right, and
Unless there's an obstruction or some other reason from engineering or
It's not
public
a
works
big deal.
Yes, it shouldn't be.
perspective, I'll look into
Okay.
putting it as required.
And it would be nice, I'm sure you'll coordinate with the fire company to do like a nice program around it.
Sure.
you know? Yeah.
Yes, we'll have a dedication. We'll work it out with the fire company and. we'll take
Just
it
like
from
we
there.
did for Hess. Okay, great.
I'm on Google.
Okay, you guys can leave. It's fine.
You can stay.
So there's a stop sign on the corner of your building, your property. Yeah, there's nothing on the corner of the Boys and Girls Club. It's all the way down at the other end. So let me ask you, it probably would be best to put on the fire department property.
That would make the most sense.
That would make the most sense. That would look
Yes.
nice.
Yeah.
We will attempt to be logical in municipal government.
Rich, you were the guy who brought this whole thing up. Do you have any preferences?
I would just like to,
Is that a county road? Is that a county road corner?
I'm sure they'll reach out to us, to the president, chief. We'll put together a group of people.
Is he supposed to be talking at the podium?
Is that a county road corner?
No,
That we would
Okay.
have any issue, Adam, is that a county road corner that we'd have any issues, or we shouldn't?
I don't know.
We didn't-
I'm going to look into it. If
we
there's an
didn't- if you
issue,
haven't-
I'll circle back. Otherwise, if there's no issues, we'll
It
just...
can't be a county road.
I don't think it is
It's
either.
not a county road.
Okay.
there you go.
Park Road is a county road.
Not Oak.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll put it on Oak. Yeah.
That's where it's supposed to be, not Oak.
All right, we're good. Everyone's good with that? We're good? Yes, sir. Good.
Moving right along.
Sewer utility connection capacity fee.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. As previously discussed, the discussion regarding fees associated with the sewer utility have been kind of broken up. The first one being undertaken is the connection capacity fee. As previously reported, there was a statutory calculation, or the calculation done to be consistent with the statutory maximum, and the first run at it there was an issue with. So circling back, there's been a revision to that calculation within the council's packet. You have my memorandum, which includes the connection fee, the data necessary to establish the total costs, and the EDU calculation, which determines what it's divided by. Currently, the connection fee is $1,119 for an equivalent dwelling unit, and the statutory maximum based upon the calculation that's been prepared with guidance from the senior partner from the township's auditing firm is $6,608. So the question before council at this point is, if council wants to change the fee, what do we want to change the fee to?
Okay, this is fees going forward. This is not...
This is a connection fee going forward. If council directs a change to be made, there would be an ordinance prepared for an effective date of January 2020. And for the benefit of the audience, the purpose of the connection of the capacity fee is essentially, over the years, significant investment's been made in the sewer utility. And when someone joins it, the idea is that there's a contribution towards the greater whole, and you haven't paid all of those costs associated with developing the utility, and now you are joining the utility, which has already been established and built out. The last time we changed the fee, I believe, was in 1999. I think the action was taken in 98 for an effective in 99. Not having a revised fee isn't a significant thing, depending on how much you spend. If you're investing a lot in the utility, there's a lot of costs associated. It's prudent then to review it, and if the council so decides, increase it.
So since,
let-
go ahead.
Let me ask the question first.
Go ahead.
How many units would be affected by this price? This would only be for the new sewer line going in on 23, correct?
This would be for anybody connecting to the sewer after January 2020.
So if somebody didn't connect, let's say in the village, hypothetically, they even though they were supposed to connect and they haven't connected, they would suddenly find themselves into the higher fee range.
Unless they've already paid the fee. There are people who fit into the category of they've paid the connection fee, they just haven't gone to the construction to
How many
establish
people
the
haven't
connection.
paid the connection fee?
I don't know.
Okay.
I asked that same question, and I asked that if we do change the fee, that they be noticed
Yes.
in a letter saying that as of this date,
Right,
the fee is going from this to this.
right. So it'd be
So they could pay the connection fee before it goes
Yeah,
into
correct.
effect.
Yeah. That
And
would
right
be my
now, it's
concern.
$1,119 is what, and that's what it's been since
Correct.
the 90s.
And it bears noting, though, just to point out with respect to the people who were supposed to connect, they had the grace period and then the
Right.
second grace
We
period.
understand.
Now we
And it
had,
goes
we
anywhere.
had 25 people in court on Monday for lack of compliance, so we're well past
Right.
the normal period of
So
when
this is
connection
going to be
took place.
even more of a motivation for them to do something.
Correct, but they may be in a situation where they've paid. I don't know the exact numbers, but I know a number of people have come in and paid and just haven't connected.
Right.
Because discussion of this has gotten around and people are aware of it.
And we can go anywhere
Exactly.
from this price up to $6,608.
Correct.
And once you pay, do you have a certain amount of time that you have to do the construction?
Once you pay it.
It depends upon the project.
So I
That's
could pay my
articulated.
connection fee and not do it.
For 5 years.
That's an interesting
Technically.
question. I don't,
Yeah.
If there isn't a project to connect to, I'm not sure if you can pay your connection fee, but that's an interesting
But
question.
the people in the village all have a certain amount of time, and it's already passed.
It's already passed.
At that time.
So what would be a fair and equitable price to increase it to? 3,000?
I was going to say 35.
I was going to say
I was
35.
going to say 35.
Yeah, I mean, the connection fees in surrounding towns, and again,
Oh, that was my other
the
question.
benefit of surrounding towns is they're surrounding towns, but you don't know if they've spent a nickel in
Benefit
the
of
last...
surrounding towns is the
Right.
surrounding towns.
Right, that's it. They're just surrounding towns.
I just
Do you
had
have
to
a
figure out
comparable town that's surrounded?
The problem
and-
is no,
No.
because you would have to have all of the various items line up. You know, are they the same size? Is that the same number of customers as we do? Have they spent the same amount of money as we have? There are so many variables, it's hard to make an accurate comparison. But just for the benefit of the record, Bloomingdale's connection fee is $7,200.
But are they built out? They're not doing any additional soil?
I don't think so. They're an older community, but
New construction probably.
any new development on 23. Butler's $1,500. Kinnelon's $2,500. Lincoln Park is $2,785. Montville's $6,373. We're $1,119. Pompton Lakes is $4,485. Riverdale's $4,000. Wayne is $1,654.
So, okay, so how would this help our sewer authority? It's not going to do, our sewer utility, it's not going to do any good now. It will pay off or will help somewhere in the future.
Correct. And it's one of those things that is just supposed to be revisited periodically. Again, the council doesn't have to make any change. I recommend that a change is made
we have
because
to make
we've invested a significant amount in the utility over the past few decades.
Just a matter of what.
But the idea is just that you're establishing a fee that is consistent with the concept that people who are joining have some responsibility in paying for things that have been developed for years.
Okay, so what we agreed to, 3,500?
I don't know. Did you
I like-
agree with
I like
that?
3,500.
Or either-
I like 35.
I was going to say either 3 or 35, so.
And again, the council can change this at any point too.
Can someone from the public make a comment on this or no?
It's
Yeah.
your meeting, Mr. Mayor. If you want to open it to the public, you're welcome to.
We're going to open it to the public.
Do you want to come to the microphone? Sure. Maria? You got to state your name and address for the record.
Are you voting then?
Just your name and address is okay.
Maria Hook, 33 Second Street, Pequannock, New Jersey. I don't know if Second Street is scheduled to be sewered,
They
but
are
could
on,
we,
they are on the master plan. I believe First and Second Street are still on the master plan.
so we
As a
could
priority area.
pay the 1170 beforehand and we would be okay?
I don't think you could, being that there's no construction going on there. We didn't have an ordinance or anything.
It's not available for connection right now.
It's not, okay. So when it does happen, who knows when, but
Right. You
To
would
be
pay
honest
the-
with you, I don't see it anytime in the near future.
Me neither.
Because the sewer utility is not in great financial shape.
okay, that's all I needed to know. Thank you, everyone.
Well, I wouldn't
never say
say,
never.
never say never.
Right.
Not anytime soon.
There are no,
Yeah, we kind of flipped something.
And the main reason,
So, like-
the main reason that First and Second Street was added to the master sewer plan was the size of the properties, because if your septic does fail,
Too much money in the
there's not too many options of where it can go.
Downhill.
Exactly.
So, as a component of the discussion, do I hear consensus that $3,500 when the ordinance is ultimately prepared is...
$3,500, but please make sure we notice the rest of the people in the village that as of such and such a date,
Yeah, I would want
It's
to give
gonna go
everybody
to-
opportunity to
We're
pay it.
gonna do the ordinance when, next meeting, introduce it.
No, this would, when we come to a landing on all of the fees associated with the sewer utility, we'll do one ordinance.
Okay, because you're gonna wanna warn them ahead of time this will happen before January.
We can easily send out a letter now saying the council has come to consensus that the fee will increase as of January 20. An ordinance has yet to be introduced. When it does, you'll have an opportunity to be heard, but be forewarned.
they're in the, what did you say they're in right now? They're in the, they've already.
They're in the post grace period.
And now they're gonna be
They're
in
in-
the,
they're in
oh,
court.
shoot, I gotta pay that phase.
But to Maria's point, and I don't know if this is something that we can actually put in writing yet, there are really no future projection timelines for anyone else, so.
Well, it wouldn't go to anybody
At
out
this
there anyway,
time,
so.
like, we have no idea.
I don't think we'd want to say that.
No, but we don't know.
Right, but it's
Right.
not, the letter's not going to go out to First and Second Street anyway.
Right, it's
only
going
going to
out
the
to the
village.
people in the village who haven't hooked up yet, so.
Yeah, the only project for sewering currently in design phase and coming to a conclusion there is Route 23. There are no other projects, residential, commercial, or otherwise, for any additional sewer projects, just to make sure it's clear.
And the reason I say never, we never want to say never, is because, what happens if 8 houses
Don't
in
do
that
it.
area, all of a sudden, oh my God, my septic's failed, I have nowhere to go, we may have to say, okay, you know what?
He has to bring it
We're
up.
gonna have to bring
Right.
sewer there quick.
Yeah.
Okay, so the ordinance will be prepared accordingly, and I'll have correspondence
We're good.
out ASAP.
Sorry, I missed the number 12 items for discussion. All right, so let's go to 13. There are no reports or notices, and now we'll go to item 14, council reports and announcements. Councilwoman Florence Lynch.
Okay. I just wanted to go back to one thing. I was disappointed to see on the Rangers report, I see damage to the fire pit and the deck. What happened?
There was vandalism.
Was that when a permit was given to use it, or it
No,
was
it
just
was just-
stationary?
it was just arbitrary.
Oh, what a shame. Okay. Well, is it fixable? Will it be?
Yeah, we're going to repair it.
It was the top portion, it wasn't any of the bricks or anything.
Yeah.
It was
They
just-
kind
it
of
was like
chipped
the top-
around the border.
The
Yeah.
top portion of it.
What a shame. Okay. Couple of things. I just wanted to stress to everybody the importance of getting the community's input on the master plan survey. If you don't know what I'm talking about, ask someone or look on the township website. I thank you, Adam. I saw that you did put the button up there. We are asking for everyone to submit their comments and complete the survey by September 20th. And also, if you're going to be at the hoedown, there'll be a booth there under the pavilion, so if you want to, make your voice heard, you can fill out that survey. It's a brief survey, just looking for the pulse of the community on how we want the future development. So just keep that in mind, and then there'll be a future meeting presented on that. The Flood Committee, they're meeting on Thursday of this week at 7:30, and then, of course, the hoedown is this Saturday with the rain date of Sunday. What else do I have? And really, I think that's it. That's all I have for now.
Thank you. Councilman Hurd.
That's me. Let's see, just 2 quick things. Open space meeting has been moved to the 16th here in Town Hall. And the only other thing I have is congratulations to Mr. Portis, which is our new superintendent. I know he did a great job over at Hillview, and he's going to be incredible for the community moving forward, so congratulations. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. Councilman Phelan?
Okay, just a reminder that October 17th is the fish and chips at company number 2 dinner, and October 26th is the beefsteak for company number 1.
Say the second date again.
October 26th.
26th, Saturday. And I guess most of the firemen, or some of the firemen, will be down in Wildwood later on this week. That's it.
Thank you. Councilwoman Russell.
The Parks and Rec were throwing around ideas after hearing about the vandalism, and they thought it might be not a bad idea if we had like an anonymous tip line, because what happens to this vandalism is, more often than not, somebody videotapes it. So if somebody saw it and saw the videotape, or saw it on Snapchat or Instagram or whatever, and they could call anonymously, that might not be a bad idea. The hoedown, we are going to have a dunk tank, and the Polar Plunge kids are going to be in the dunk tank. So that's going to be fun. The dog park will be hopefully open in late October. So everybody's very happy. Mayor cleanup April 4th. And that's it.
Thank you. First Aid Squad met last night. They had a total of 53 calls for the month of August. Year-to-date, 2018, there was 499 calls, and same time in 2019, we're at 516 calls. The First Aid Squad would also like to recognize and thank Todd and his staff from the DPW in the past few weeks. Addressed several ambulance issues, flat tire, power steering hose leak, and battery issue, and I believe the flat tire was on Sunday, and it was fixed within an hour, so please extend the First Aid Squad thank you to Todd.
Will do.
9/11 ceremony is tomorrow night here at 6:30 out in front. I was going to ask about the dog park to see where we were in that. I mean, if we could try to speed that up anyway to try to get it done, mid-October, so they have some. Hopefully November is still nice that they can utilize it. Reminder, the next meeting, we're going to have a special meeting at 6 p.m., and I'm assuming that we're going to have that meeting here in council chambers.
That was my assumption.
Yes.
Council preferred anything else.
Bye, guys.
Oh, we're gonna have it here? I thought we were gonna have it in the room.
Well,
Well, we could.
Whatever. Oh, if
if
people
people are
come.
going to come, it's going to
That's
be
true.
easier here.
Gotcha.
Everyone's okay with having it here? Because it
Okay,
seems like
right.
we're going to have some people here.
Right, as I told the township manager, I have an off-site classes for Hayden. I don't know what time I'm getting out of those yet. They're in Fairfield. If I get out before 6, then obviously I'll be here by 6. If I don't get out by 6, I ain't gonna be here by 6.
Okay.
So I still don't know what the schedule is.
Gotcha. Oh, Dave, also, with regards to the dog park, he's trying to get it done. He's actually waiting for people to get back to him.
Pete?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
I
He's really
heard
up
they're
on it.
waiting on some fencing
Yeah, he's waiting
prices
on,
or something.
yeah, he's waiting on some prices, but he's still good.
Perfect. As Ryan mentioned last night, I was at the Pequannock Board of Education meeting to welcome Mr. Portis as the new superintendent. The Board of Ed did a couple great promotions. Mr. Hazler's the new principal at the high school. He left PV to go to the high school. Mr. Portis was the principal at Hillview, and he's now the superintendent. So, two great promotions from the Board of Ed. Prior to the meeting, I went up and I introduced myself to the interim BA, and I reintroduced myself to the interim super, and both said it's been a pleasure working with Adam and as the town manager, so I don't know what you're working with him on, but it's nice to hear that, we're working together nicely with the Board of Ed and the township.
And the compliment goes both ways, gentlemen. Thank you.
Okay. And that is all I have, I believe.
Mayor Dee, can I ask two quick
Sure.
things? I have on my calendar, do we have Shred Day on October 12th?
Yes, I believe I have that on my
Yeah.
calendar
All
as
right,
well.
so just a reminder, Shred Day is on October 12th.
At PV
and-
Park.
At PV Park.
All right, and there's a First Aid concert the following weekend, I think? John,
Yes,
it's
there
like
is
a John
a
Lennon.
Lennon.
October
The John
19th,
Lennon.
the John Lennon concert at Pequannock High School for the First Aid Squad.
Thank you.
Okay, so, next on the agenda is public comment. Frank, you want to say anything?
Come on.
Julie, you live in town.
They all laugh.
Oh, yeah. No comment, okay. Next on the agenda is minutes for approval, August 13th, 2019. Ryan, you have to abstain for that one. August 27th, 2019 was the special meeting. Rich, you have to abstain for that one. And then August 27th, 2019. Anyone have any comments on the minutes?
Nope, good job.
Is there a motion to approve these minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve minutes from August 13th, the special meeting of August 27th, and the council meeting of August 27th.
A second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I
Opposed?
abstain on mine, and
I abstain on mine.
All right, perfect, we're good. Items for closed?
I have nothing, sir.
Okay. There being no further business, is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned at about 7:27.